Here with Jen McGowan. Thank you for taking the time, Jen. Wonderful movie.
Thank you.
Callie and Cal. What captured me is, I don't know what you want to call it, the afterglow. I was still thinking about it and talking about it after I saw it.
Good, good.
And, talking about the characters, the relationships. What made you bring this to film?
I really responded to the script. It's written by a writer named Amy Liv Starbin, and I liked the voice of the material, and I thought, I could see all the characters very clearly, and I identified with the themes of aging and marriage and identity, and I thought that they were universally accessible, and that's why I brought it.
I enjoyed the performances. Juliette Lewis, it was great to see her in an easy role, something that isn't, fringe like she likes to do.
Right.
And I think she captured it beautifully.
Oh, good.
And is that what you were going for her performance to be?
Yeah.
Basically kind of straight laced.
Yeah, it's a more subtle performance than I think people are used to seeing her in. But I mean, I obviously really enjoy watching her in it, or I wouldn't have cast her in it. But yeah, that's absolutely what I wanted.
It seems so natural for her.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we just haven't seen that from her before. I think, she's certainly great at it. It's just maybe that's not what people tend to tap into with her.
What I loved about the movie was that it seemed like a turning point for her.
Yeah.
Because, it was always, like I mentioned, these certain type of characters, but you saw a depth in her acting, but also the story.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what you were going for, to kind of bring that out.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you responded to that, because that's what I responded to in the material as well. And I think that's what the actors responded to in the material and why they came on board.
Yeah, I think the jewel was definitely her performance. Like I mentioned, there were so many different little things going on there. Sybil Shepherd playing, I don't know, the mother-in-law, the perfect waspy, overbearing mother-in-law. I think she captured it perfectly.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, how was that? Talking with her and telling her, what you were wanting to.
She's wonderful to work with, and I'm so grateful that she came on board, because she can do whatever she wants. She doesn't have to do a little film like this,
right.
And it was great that she did, and I think she brought a ton to the role, which, while not huge in page length, it's really kind of complex and nuanced, and she hit all those parts really nicely, I thought.
Right, her dealing with Juliette Lewis, when she brought up the suggestion of seeing a psychologist.
Right.
And, we'll be here every day to help you.
Right.
And she just, again, that concert professional, with the looks and the gestures, and you're like kind of cringing for Juliette Lewis.
But I think also it comes from a good place. I mean, it's well-intentioned, just maybe
misplaced.
Not so well received. Yeah.
Because, again, even with Margaret Colin, her love for her son.
Right.
And, when they're in the art museum and, that little scene comes up, when she captures that mother aspect. Again, what you were going for?
Yeah, I mean, very much so. Again, Cal's mother comes from a place of love and a place of good intentions as well. Right. I think that's kind of what the film is all about, actually, is all these good intentions, but it's not quite working out.
Right. Something I caught was the theme of, it's very feminine. The aspects of, you have the mothers, but no fathers. The mentions of the father for Cal, overbearing, typical, probably lacrosse-bearing, executive type father.
Right.
But we don't get a glimpse of Josh's father. John, what his father would be like, because at the end he ends up going home.
Right.
And that whole scene, and and that's one of the things I was playing around in my own head, what the father might have said.
That's interesting. I mean, I think I haven't heard that before, but I think you're right. I mean, it's definitely told the characters, the lead characters, are mostly women, and that's what the story is about.
Right.
I mean, obviously Cal is a boy, and his story is quite predominant as well.
Right.
But in terms of fatherhood, the best representation of that is Josh, really.
Yeah, because Johnny's character, he's very mature. But you can see why he would be mature, you know,
Right,
so
right.
much that happened to him. And Josh Hopkins' character, you know, it was interesting because I don't want to. Oh, he's very attached to the apron.
Yeah, okay.
You know, listen to his mother. So you know, I was curious about the influence the father would have had on him, and that, you know, that's what I was mentioning earlier about, you know, the additional conversations I had after watching the
Yeah,
film.
I think that's true. There's a lot of female energies going on.
Yeah, you know, and all positive.
Right.
You know, and everyone wants to help. So you know, that was just the theme I had caught.
That's interesting.
And from your perspective, what did you want the audience to walk away with, you know, at watching the film? Because, you know, at the end, they get together, there are still issues. You know, she learned from her mistakes, I
Right.
suppose, because there's really a lot there that you can really talk about afterwards.
Yeah, and that's what I think I'd like people to take from the film, actually, is kind of what you said, this lingering of still thinking about it and still talking about it. And I think, you know, at the end of the film, there's a hopefulness, but it's not perfect.
Right. You know, because is that what kind of drew you to the film?
Yeah.
Because you have the relationship with the married couple,
Right.
the relationship with the mom and the baby,
Right.
the in-laws,
Right.
and even the sister-in-law, and
And they're all kind of messy and not perfect.
yeah, exactly. Was that also a little theme there? You know,
Yeah.
it's not working out perfectly as we thought, but
Exactly. I mean, that's how life is.
nothing's ever perfect, right? Well, you know, I really loved the film. I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you.
And, you know, congratulations.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for giving us some exposure. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Thanks again.
Thank you.